Good morning, bonjour, buongiorno. Welcome to my nuclear teaching of Tuesday, December 20, 2022. As always, independent, knowledgeable, inspirational, and, of course, without any compromise, because nuclear is the best we have, and we know this since 60 years. Atoms for peace. This is not an opinion, it is science. So, as I announced last week, today I'm going to talk about what's happening in the Middle East around nuclear in the Gulf area. And I would like to start with actually a banknote. A banknote imaging two nuclear power plants. It's a banknote issued by the Central Bank of the United Arab Emirates, and it is 1,000 dirhams. Now, I have no clue how much 1,000 dirhams actually is, but it seems a lot to me. Have you actually ever seen in our West, in the EU or in the US, a banknote with nuclear power plants on it? I've never seen it, but if you've seen it, please let me know and leave your comments below here, right here, on LinkedIn. I actually only recall the famous stamp about atoms for peace, which we issued at the time that we were proud on nuclear in the 70s, and when we built actually a nuclear power plant within 5 years. Actually, all our fleet was built between approximately 1970 and 1990. France actually decarbonized almost all of its electricity system within 20 years. Can you imagine that? Wow. Well, the world has changed because nuclear new builds we now find in the New World, in China and in the Middle East, specifically here in the United Arab Emirates. And they're actually proud of it, as proud as we were in the 70s. So what we see here are two nuclear power plants built at the Baraka nuclear site. They will have 4 plants, by the way, and the third one, the third nuclear power plant, has just been connected to the grid a couple of months ago. And all these power plants have been built within 5 years, on time, on budget. So why is that? Because the Middle East has a plan. They will run out of oil, they will run out of gas, so they will need nuclear. They will need nuclear very badly. And of course, as we, let's say, develop West, they realize that we need clean energy. And they realize that nuclear is actually the best we have. Highest output with lowest input, with lowest footprint. And besides the Emirates, there's happening actually much more in that area. As we can see here, this is the Chinese President Xi. Actually, he is in Riyadh, talking to many high-level officials from the Middle East. The Middle East collectively has about 25 nuclear new builds plants in that area. Can you imagine that? In China, the nuclear power plants are being connected to the grid every month. Can you imagine? 1 new power plant every month in China. In about 3 to 4 years, China will be the largest nuclear country in the world. Well, like with many other, let's say, technology developments. So, here in the West, we're talking about, well, nuclear takes a long time, is expensive, etc., 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 blah, 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 blah. And we have, of course, solar and wind and geothermal and all that. The New World, totally different, builds nuclear power plants at a rate we were used to in the 70s. So, why is that? That will be precisely the subject I will be talking about next week, because in the EU we have a European Green Deal, which actually sort of blocks the development of nuclear here in our region in the EU. And I will talk about that next week. So for now, thank you very much for your attention. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't listen to stories about long building times and expensive and long construction times and all that, blah, 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 here in the EU. No. If you want to say something meaningful about nuclear energy, look at the new world, China, Middle East, and not at the old world, the EU and US. So, don't forget, save the planet, great idea. Build nuclear power plants. The more, the faster, the better. It's not an opinion, it's science. I wish you a great day. Ciao, alla prossima!